Hey everybody, it's Brad with Garden Evolution. Today I am thinking spring and I'm so excited to get these galvanized planters that I picked up that I showed you in my past video finds that I picked up at Home Goods. So I've got three of them here and I'm going to be planting them up with some of these great flowers for spring. So I've got some of these white hellebores. These ones are a little faded out now, but there's some more blooms coming on. This is the gold collection of Ice and Roses white, beautiful pure white, and it's got a red. These are stamens in the center here that really show up, and they have a light green halo, but then they fade out to this beautiful chartreuse color. And the backs of their petals are a slight pink. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but you can kind of see it here, and actually some of it is right there in the front. I'm also going to be using a Kimberly Queen Fern. Now, these aren't generally hardy past 30 degrees. They are a zone 9, so it says they can take down to 20, but that would probably mean that they'd be killed back and then they'd probably reflush. But this one was on clearance at my local garden center, and it was just in great condition, and I wanted a ferny texture for spring with a kind of a woodlandly look, and this was just a great option. So it's a house plant. You can overwinter these. You can get these now and wait a little longer if you choose, but these are really great accents, and I plan to use these in other window boxes out this summer, so I'll be able to move these and use them then. I've also got some Carex. Now, these don't look the best, but it's a grassy foliage, and I had them on hand. These are Monrovia's Everlime Evercolor Sedge. It's a Carex. So you can either trim all the nasties back. There's a few that have proceeded to go past what I had already trimmed off, and a few new ones that are got smushed in some soil. But they're still really great. They have some really great color. They're variegated on the edges, so they're darker green in the center here, and then they have a lime green edge to them. Like I said, it's a little messy, and actually the deer have chomped a bit tasting them, and clearly they don't like them. So points for that, and that'll be really good in the landscape for later. This is a perennial. This one is zones, well, so Monrovia doesn't put a zone on it. It just says -10 to -20, which to me that's zone 5. 5 or 6, I can't remember. We're a zone 6 though. We were a 5. But these get 12 to 15 inches high and 18 to 24 inches wide, and it's just a really, really nice color. These do prefer full sun to partial shade, but they can actually take a lot more shade than what they say on here, and they'll still do really good. I also picked up some of these blue anemones right here. They start off this really beautiful dark blue, and then as they fully open, they fade out to more of a periwinkle, and then they have this really great, like almost like parsley foliage. You can see it here. This one's a little tattered. I've moved it around and kind of crammed it in with some other plants while I was waiting to do this. I also picked up miniature daffodils. These ones are forced. These are titiatiti. These ones naturalize in our area, so these are a really good candidate. And then they have these really small flowers, and you can see them here. They're about yay big. So I really like these because they're delicate, but then they aren't so blousy and big as our standard daffodils that we have around here. This is a primrose in the color blue, and this is the supernova blue. These are said to be hardy from 4 to 9. Um, I've never successfully been able to keep these over winter, but I figure if I get them planted early enough and in the ground, they should be relatively good. Obviously, it's got a nice big bloom here, but it's also coming up with some more growth here and along the other side, which should give us some ongoing color as spring continues on as we get into summer. I don't think I mentioned these hellebores are part sun to shade, and these are zones. Again, another one. Why don't they put zones on this? People should know this, right? Zones. This says -20, so these are to zone 4 or 5, I believe. Hellebores are extremely hardy and one of the first things to bloom. Ours are actually a little slow getting up this year, despite how warm it's been. I have a black one upstairs that I'm forcing to get up. It also was eaten down by deer, which is not normal. Hellebores are generally deer tolerant. Um, and they don't get mauled down by them. So I just think we had really hungry deer this year. I'm going to be using some moss here as a filler, just around the base if I can see any soil, which I really shouldn't. I also picked up some curly willow sticks. I have a lot more right over here to pull up, but I'll be using this as some accents within the containers. I also picked up some of the dark blue pansies with the yellow centers to be used with the combo. And then I also picked up a large variegated ivy here. So this one didn't have a specific name. This is by Exotic Angels. These are generally houseplants. So I always buy the larger hanging baskets for this. And what I do is I take them and I separate them up. And usually you can get about 3 to 4 plants out of this. And they're a lot bigger than the smaller ones that you buy in the individual pots. If you're willing to wait, they're a great option for you in the smaller pots, but I like instant gratification. And these are relatively cold hardy. I actually overwintered a couple different varieties out in our garage, and there was some dieback, and I really gave them no care whatsoever, not even water. They died back a little bit, but they're still green and they're starting to shoot up new growth. And I have some that are actually out in containers, the variegated variety that's more white than this, and those ones are coming back. And I can't get enough of them. They're actually a zone 7, but we were pretty mild here this year, so I think that was part of the success. So I'm going to go ahead and start dismantling everything so I can get ready to plant this, and then we'll start there. So I just want to quickly point out a few things. I did add another pansy into here just to poke out, and then I just up the plants a little bit just to make them look a little better. I did add a few more curlicue branches to it, the curly willow. I did add some moss into here and throughout where I could see some soil, and then again just fluffed up the plants. So I'm going to put these out in the morning and we will get some pictures and show you them and how good they look.